Hi everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. Today I've got slow cooker lasagna for you. We're gonna take some of Rick's meat sauce that he makes on the regular that I had a nice amount left over. Instead of turning it into another spaghetti dinner, I decided I was gonna make a lasagna with it. And I thought, I'm gonna try making this lasagna in the slow cooker and see how it comes out. Well, I can't wait to show you how this all came together. We're gonna go over all the ingredients. This is my basic lasagna recipe, only this time we're gonna throw it in the slow cooker because even though we all may be at home right now, we're still trying to get other things done. Lasagna is a labor of love, and when you're making it, at least when I make it, I usually like to make pans and pans of it. But this time we're doing a bit of a leftover makeover, and we're gonna use some of Rick's Irish spaghetti sauce, and we're gonna use that to build our slow cooker lasagna. So what I have is, this is one full box of lasagna noodles. These are the oven ready kind, but you don't have to use that kind at all. I have about 2.5 quarts of leftover meat sauce. I have a 32-ounce container of good quality whole milk ricotta cheese. I have 3 eggs. I have 4 cups of mozzarella, shredded. This is actually a combo of whole milk mozz and an Italian blend that I had in the fridge. And I have about a cup of good quality grated Parmesan and our seasonings that are all gonna go in the ricotta blend. This is a teaspoon each: onion powder, garlic powder, dried parsley, dried basil, and Italian seasoning, and about 6 grates of fresh nutmeg, whole dry nutmeg that you freshly grate in there. Don't make a face. Nutmeg is not a sweet spice. It is a savory spice as well. And every good Italian knows you put a little bit of nutmeg in your ricotta cheese. We're gonna start with our whole milk ricotta cheese here. And if you open up your container and it has a little bit or a little bit more whey than you'd like, just go ahead and drain that off before you put it in your bowl. I just wanna break it up. And then we're gonna add our spices, our eggs. The eggs are necessary in my opinion, because I don't want my cheese layer to end up being all mushy. I want it to cook and have some body. So we want it to have a distinguishable layer of ricotta cheese in here. So the eggs are gonna help us give that a little bit of body, and it's gonna help to keep that nice layer of cheese. I'm gonna add about half of this Parmesan and give it a good stir. Adding the cheeses in here doesn't just lend flavor, it also helps to add structure as well. And you guessed it, we're gonna add a good handful of the mozzarella and go ahead and fold that in. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and build our lasagna. Okay, we're gonna start building our lasagna, and you wanna do that by, first you need to put a layer of your sauce. Now, Rick's meat sauce is very, very thick.
Chunky.
It's very chunky as well. So if you need to add another plain jar of pasta sauce, then I suggest that you consider doing that, because you're gonna need enough liquid in here for the noodles to cook. And also keep in mind that you're gonna be breaking some noodles in order to make sure you have a good structure. Don't worry about it, just do it. Just toss it in there. Don't be afraid. This is not the time to be afraid. We're gonna come in with some of our cheese mixture. You wanna just make a nice even layer of the ricotta mixture right there. Now, honestly, this is up to you. Do you wanna make one layer of ricotta, or do you wanna do more than one layer? To be honest with you, I like one nice layer of ricotta. So I'm gonna put this on the top. This is also gonna help to bind everything together. I'm also coming in with another sprinkle of Parmesan, not too much, just a little, and another sprinkle of mozz. Again, this is gonna help you maintain structure. And then we're gonna come back in here with our noodles. I'm gonna come in with another layer of meat sauce. Now look, you wanna make sure that you're generous here with the liquid, because that's how the noodles are gonna cook. And that's perfect. And I should have just enough sauce for a layer on top. I'm gonna come in here with a good sprinkle of parm. And if you need to use more parm or more mozz, you go right ahead and do that. This is not gonna hurt it. another generous layer of the mozzarella. We're gonna come in here with more noodles. I'm gonna put the remainder of this cheese mixture, I'm just gonna go ahead and spread it. And you can, like I said, you can leave out more if you want to, but this is what I left out, so this is what we're going with, right? A little more mozz, a little more parm. And now we're gonna top this with one more layer of noodles. We'll come in with the rest of our sauce. And also keep in mind, if you don't have leftover meat sauce like we have, you can just do this with sauce from your pantry. Now, we're ready to put the lid on this. You're gonna be able to serve lasagna to everybody for a few days, I think. We're gonna put this in the slow cooker. And I'm gonna put it on high for the first hour, and then I'm gonna turn it down to low, and we're gonna cook it for an additional 2 to 3 hours until everything is simmering. And when you put your fork in there or your knife, you can tell that it slides easily and that the noodles are cooked all the way. Then we'll come back and we'll put our final layer of cheese on top and let it melt, and then we will be having lasagna for dinner. So I'll be back when it's time to cheese this up again. Okay, it has been just about 3.5 hours and our lasagna is pretty much done. So you can see the noodles on the top have kind of buckled, and you can see that they're nice and soft. They're fully cooked. If I take my knife and pierce the center, I can feel that all of the noodles have cooked all the way through. They're nice and soft. And now all we have left to do is put some cheese on here. And I'm just gonna leave everything the way it is. I'm not going to turn my slow cooker back on. We're just gonna cheese up the top, and you can do as much or as little as you like. That's about where I like to do it. You don't need to put like a completely thick layer of cheese. I'm also going to put some Parmesan up here. There's a ton of cheese in here to begin with, so I'm gonna put the lid on it. I'm gonna stick it back over where I keep this on the counter, and I'm not gonna think about it because it's still too early to eat dinner. But I will suggest that you need to let this sit for a good hour, if not 2, before you slice into this so that everything doesn't just fall apart. It's still gonna taste great, but you won't have those nice layers that you'll be able to see. So when it's time to serve this up, I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, there you have it. The lasagna has been resting at room temperature. I have not had it on warm or anything. I got the cheese nice and melty, and then it's just been turned off for about 1.5 hours, and it's perfect. You want to make sure that your lasagna rests before you slice into it. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit juicy, and you don't want that. You want all the liquid to absorb back into the lasagna, into the cheese, into the noodles, and so you have a nice stable way to slice it. And you can see I use my fish slice and a sharp knife, and of course that first piece is a little tricky to get out, but you can easily get in here with a couple of spatulas and you can pull this right out. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I got it all the way down to the bottom. So there's, no extra laying around. The very, very, very most important tip I can give you is don't cut it too soon. Let it rest. So we're gonna serve this with a salad and some Italian bread. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had my doubts about how well this might turn out. It's delicious. I'm gonna have Rick give this a try, even though I'm pretty sure he already snuck a taste. Because the first piece is always ugly, so I just set it off on a paper plate. And Rick's meat sauce is the perfect foil for this because it's, you don't have to cook any meat separately. You've already done all that work. You're really just layering ingredients.
That's incredible.
It's really, really good.
It really is.
And of course, you're going to have lots left over. So if you are not as many people as we are, then you can always make a smaller one in a smaller slow cooker. You can always make this in the oven. You can divide this up and freeze it in portions, or you can share it with family and friends. That's my suggestion. So that's how you make a slow cooker lasagna, which I have to say, I had my doubts, but here it is, a complete success, and we will be making it like this again in the future. I hope you give this a try, and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.